often what we don't realize is it's so easy to fall into that downward spiral and overlooking our achievements in life. And sometimes, you know, it might seem quite trivial that, oh, like, why do we have to acknowledge, why do we have to celebrate our achievements? Isn't that arrogance? Isn't that just kind of boosting our ego? And the truth is, it doesn't have to be an ego trip. It doesn't have to be where it's this arrogance. And because what we don't often realize is that it's so easy to, like I said, get into that downward spiral and start speaking, having these negative thoughts going on and saying things like, oh yeah, like I mess everything up all the time anyway. Oh, I'm no good. I'm sure you could relate to some of those thoughts, like I'm terrible at getting back to people. I'm no good at maintaining friendships, and you know, I don't end up messaging people. And we think that if we speak to ourselves like that, actually that is gonna make us take those steps. But I'm sure you know, when you've done that to yourself, when you've spoke to yourself like that, has it made you take that step? Has it been? It hasn't. It's not made you pick up the phone and say like, yeah, I'm so messed up. I'm like, you know, I'm no good at doing these things. And it's not made you think, yeah, wait, yeah, you know what? I'll pick up the phone. I'm not saying it's impossible and it doesn't happen for anyone ever. But what we don't realize is what's happening during that time is we're actually reducing. Let me word it another way. That, like, if we look at, sometimes, you know, we've got this high end energy and we've got this drive to do something, but when we're like that, when we're being like that to ourselves and we're overlooking and not acknowledging these achievements in life, we end up in this low state of energy. When we're in this low state of energy, it's not easier to take that next step. It's actually more difficult when we're now, our whole energies become negative. So what can we do? What's the switch? What's the solution? And when I came across and I read from Guru Gobind Singh Ji's own words, when Guru Gobind Singh Ji say that "Pei jeet meri," that, you know, I gained this victory. "Pei jeet meri, kirpa kaal keri," Kaal referring to God here, and saying that, you know, with your grace, I had this victory. And I thought, wait there, that's Guru Gobind Singh Ji celebrating winning a battle. Yes, they're talking about an actual physical battle on the battlefield, but the truth is, we've got our own battles. Those battles are internal, those battles are every day in our life. But let's just pick on that one thing, sometimes maintaining a relationship, not picking up the phone and messaging somebody, even when we want to do that. So it's not that we don't want to do it, but we just get into this, it's like we seize up. We go into this freeze mode and then we just don't end up doing it, but you want to do it. And when I looked at that, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and think about this, that it could be, somebody could have a mindset in like, oh my God, I had to fight a battle. I'm only 17, 18. I just wasted all this time and my life, and it's terrible what's happening with me and because of all of this. But no, Guru Gobind Singh Ji says that Ranang jeet aaye. Ranang means that battleground, and saying that Ranang jeet aaye, I had victory in that battleground, and now Jayang Geet Gaye, that I'm now singing the songs of victory, Jayang Geet Gaye. And I looked at that and I thought, wow, yes, our battles aren't those battles on the battleground, and the truth is, some people are literally on the battleground. There's wars in the world, but for us, generally, the battle could be just with the mind. That battle could be taken literally. For us, the battle has become, how do I pick up that phone and message a friend to maintain that relationship? And I want to, because the battle is now with my anxiety, the battle is with my own, whatever it is, right? If we start celebrating our victories, and it's not a matter of how small or big, whatever they are, that can uplift our energy to take that step to actually then write that message out. And let's take some examples, all right? Like what? And it could be literally everyday things. Things that we overlook, just stop overlooking them. And sometimes we think, oh, you know, you might be somebody every day that sits down and has a chat with one of your siblings, right? And for me, it could be one of my kids, one of my children, or for somebody, it could be one of their partner. Because the truth is, not everybody does sit down and have a, you know, this deep connection and conversations where they actually connect to their family, because people are so busy, they're stuck in their phones, their face is just stuck in their phone, they don't take themselves out of it, right? Or whatever it is, they're just constantly working. So if you do that, because there's so many people that don't, we don't realize it's actually an achievement. If we celebrate that achievement and acknowledge it and say that, oh, with your grace, I'm able to do this, and sit down with my child and have an amazing conversation, right? And because for you, that isn't one of your battles, but for somebody else it is. But when you celebrate that, you're uplifting your energy. And when you acknowledge that, now after listening to this conversation, what you could do is use that energy now, because now you're in a state of joy in celebration. It will actually help in taking that next step for what is one of your battles, which is actually picking up and maintaining that relationship that you've just got. Sometimes we just get stuck, don't we? We know we've got to do that and we just don't. But that celebration for that thing will help you to take the step for that thing. And even that, you just then, when you've done it, you've sent that first message. After months and months, you've been putting it off and you've done it, right? And you've just said, yo, bro, how you doing? You know, what's up? Been thinking about you. And then it's like, oh, wow, I've done it. But now you're not going to say, I should have done that ages ago. What an idiot, right? Like, I'm just like that. I can't believe, like, if I could have, I've done it now. Why didn't I just do it before? No, that's that same song of, like, you know, that's the opposite to celebrating. That's that moaning song, you know, you're playing, right? And what that'll do is that'll just bring you down again. That actually won't allow you to take that next step that was needed. Yeah? But that, if you celebrate that and say, you know what, Baljit Singh, smashed it, bro. You know, you actually messaged at something, and when you celebrate that, now it's like, oh, with your grace, thank you, I was able to do that. I was able to send that message. And what we're doing is, now we're uplifting our energy. We've now got this positive energy about ourselves. What's that going to do? It's going to help you now to take the next step. When you're feeling good, is it easier to do a task, or is it more difficult? It's easier, isn't it? And now I'm going to take that the next step is going to be like, what do you think? Shall we meet up for some lunch next week? And that one message from acknowledging something else that you do anyway has now led you to potentially meet that person, and then you meet up. And it was because you celebrated your victory from your battle, for whatever your battle is. So just take these simple steps. Just find something that you're doing every day anyway, acknowledge it, and say, with your grace, that I'm having this victory, you know, every day. Because for so many people it is a battle they're not. Then that will help you to reach out to your battle that you need to, you know, fight. And that will then, once you've done that, you celebrate it, and then it will give you the energy to take the step further when you then now form and build that relationship back up.